not on us to determine what's valuable to the next generation. It's on them, you know, and
absolutely.
to just throw that away, it takes that opportunity for them to value something that they would, you know.
Yeah, and you're hitting on something too, Josh. I think there's absolutely the heirloom side of it, but, you know, real time dealing with this, you know, we live in a throwaway culture. You know, it's not, whether it's a knife, a garment, you know, plastic bottles, whatever, right? And we, you know, and it's, you know, God bless the industry who makes that a big deal and tries to make it better, right? But sometimes it's for profit, sometimes it's for purpose. But at the end of the day, that's a problem, right? We live in a throwaway culture, and, you know, start recognizing that, you're making gear, right? You're making a tool. You're making something that, you know, may be a lifetime is how you decide to measure it. Is it the lifetime I own it? Is it the lifetime I own it plus another person? Maybe it's my son. You know, what's a lifetime? And and then as you're designing a product and you start owning that responsibility, you know, what commitment am I making? Am I making a commitment to the guy who puts the Benjamins on the table? Am I making a commitment to 2 generations after that, right?
Right.
And I think if you kind of say, well, we live in a throwaway culture, that's a problem. You know, let me change the way people think and make something that's supposed to be, you know, treasured, an heirloom, but all up to the task, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, there's crazy statistics on the stuff goes in landfills, and, you know, gosh, the apparel industry, you know, because I sit on that side, we're one of the worst offenders.
Yeah.
You know, we know it, and you know, we're not hiding. You know, Fashion for Good and all kinds of other organizations working to make it better, and we're trying to be part of that movement. But, you know, I think even from where you guys are, you know, that narrative and how you think, and you pay a little more, right? You know, consumers need to think that way too, right? Like, I pay more because I expect more, right? And we deliver on that, right?
You know, I still have the first OptiFade pair of pants that I ever bought, and maybe somebody will tell me I need to hunt harder, but I think they only have one little tiny hole in them, and honestly, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here as far as like a SITKA GEAR person. I've told people, like, it's unbelievable how what was wild about SITKA's stuff when it came out was how thin it was, but then how long it actually lasted. That was because you thought, like, to your point, like, oh, what are you wearing, pajamas? Those things are going to have a hole in them in the first hunt. And all of a sudden it's like people were going year after year, and then they were adding pieces to that collection. Like, wow, those pants held up. I'm going to go ahead and spend the money on a jacket. And I do think the price point does generally make people a little more respectful of their gear. You know, you're going to take less chance to, if you're drying it out, to burn it next to the fire. Right. Or, you know, you're going to take a little more care to put that knife in the sheath and not just leave it on the mountain or lose it. And I think having the price point be kind of where SITKA stuff is, or ours, or some of the other people out there, you know, a Kafaru pack.
Right.
People are going to care for that. They're going to clean that gear. They're not going to, you know, wash it with a bunch of jeans and a bunch of nasty detergent. Like, they're going to take more care. And yes, probably your SITKA pants aren't going to last your entire life if you hunt fairly hard. But to your point, you're going to get a lifetime out of those, meaning every dollar you spent, you're going to get what you expected to get out of that. And you're going to go, that $250 was like, ended up being worth it.
Right.
Because I would have bought a $40 pair every year.
Yep. And it is a mindset, right? It's coveting and cherishing. And lots of times when you spend a little bit more, because you're getting more. So that's an important part, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you think, you know, we use rifles as an analogy, right? You know, you'll oil your rifle every time you come in. You'll clean it off. You'll make sure you don't get pitting and no rusting or any of those things. It's because you covered it. You cherish it. You see it as a piece of gear. And I think the original sentiment, turning clothing into gear, was founded in that idea, right? That if it's gear, you treat it like gear. You take care of it. And I know you guys do resharpening, and you know, you do a lot, you know, for your customers if they have an issue, or making sure that it's still their primary choice, right? If I have 5 knives, why do I always grab my MKC, right? Because A, it does the job. B, I think it does it better. And C, I think it's going to last.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to put it to its paces, right? And, you know, it's a mindset. And I'm glad to see, I think it's you know, through time, generations all carry their own torch. And it feels like this one's starting to carry that one, right?